Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are the Sports Desk. I'm your host, Splash, or Ryan, whatever the heck you want to call me. I have a new microphone set up. I have a new background because I'm back in Tucson. How's it going, Jack? How's it going, Stefan?
Not too bad, honestly. Weather's actually pretty good in Florida, so I can't complain.
Nice. How's it going,
Yeah,
Jack?
it's been pretty chill here as well. I had a crazy weekend last weekend, so the last couple of days have been a little just low key compared to the other days, but it's fine. It's all good.
For sure, for sure. So that's exciting. Yeah, shout out to Austin in the chat. How's it going, man? It's a good day.
First of all, let me say we missed you, chat, because we were pre-recording last week, so this week we can finally interact with you guys again. So
yeah, I know the lighting in here sucks, but here's a heart out to all of our subscribers. If you love our content, you feel free to drop us a super chat, super sticker, whatever you want to go with there. We're also accepting donations on Venmo. So if you want to contribute, just at @ustadium_1 or ustadium sports on Venmo and say, hey, I want to give $5 to the Sports Desk guys, $10, whatever it may be. We appreciate you. Make sure you like the stream, subscribe to the channel. We have more banger content. I don't want to say daily, but there's going to be a lot of days that we have content. Yesterday we had a banger mock draft show. I had the best team, obviously, but that was so cool. Even the fantasy guys were in awe because it was such a balanced draft, and there really weren't any like crappy teams. Like there were maybe tiny little nitpicks. Like you could say, oh well, Splash, you only had Mike Davis and Damian Harris, but then I had Michael Thomas as essentially my wide receiver 4, and he's a PPR god. So I don't know, whatever it may be. Play Like a Jets coming back tomorrow. Time Out with You Stadium should be returning on Thursday. And we have lots of fantasy content lined up, lots of season preview content lined up that I'm excited about. And also, if you are not tired of hearing my voice after this is episode 33, I'll be on for about an hour and a half later today going through 50 players in my top 100. So big day today, big day this week. And heading into week 3 of the NFL preseason, I am super excited.
It's hype. We're so close to football season. It's right there.
It's 15 days away, right? 15 or 16
Something
days?
like that.
16. I think 16 days away.
We're almost there.
Actually, yeah. September 9th, Cowboys at Bucks. Cowboys going to win that one, though. So sorry for the spoiler. But I think I've mentioned it before. I don't know how much of a hot take it is. I think Dallas comes in and beats them week 1 and then has a losing record the rest of the season, so it doesn't matter in the end.
So it's like one of those losses that it's like, oh, they lost week 1.
It's like when the Patriots got destroyed by the Chiefs week 1 in like 2018, I think it was.
Yeah.
2017, something like that.
I think it was 2017, right?
And it was the Miami too. Like it was just those first week losses were like, yeah, they were a big deal at the time, but it's like they didn't make or break the team.
For sure.
But I can see Dallas winning that one because that offense just looks really, really ready to go.
Yeah,
back isn't hurt. That shoulder isn't what they say it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a good week.
And like theoretically, you have a healthy Zeke, you have a healthy offensive line. I mean, theoretically, like I don't like Zeke's outlook for the entire season, but like week 1, everyone's on the same page. You could have some sort of Super Bowl hangover over there in Tampa. So I don't know. Who knows? With that said, I'd like to take a moment and celebrate a certain Kobe Bryant day today, 8/24. He's one of few players across all of sports that you can split his career in half. And with Kobe, he had the number 8 part of his career and the number 24 part of his career. Both of them are Hall of Fame careers. Both of them are, in the top, 25 greatest players ever. And it's sad that he's no longer with us. So prayers to the Bryant family, Vanessa and company. So do you guys have any particular like Kobe moments that stand out to you that like you want to talk about?
I remember watching the 2010 NBA Finals against Boston. It was me and my mom. I'd come home from work and we were watching that game and just watching him just do what he did, just the man that he was. Like, I'm like, Boston's going to take it. And she was a Kobe fan all the time. So she always said, no, Kobe's going to win. And just watching him take that championship, that last one, it was just – that to me sticks forever because I watched Kobe and just when I was younger. But, like, that series stuck out because I loved Boston as well. So I will never forget him for that. And, all the clutch moments he had throughout the entire sport. So it's hard.
The back-to-back titles obviously jump out at you in 2009 and 2010. Obviously, though, a lot more recently, I kind of remember the 2020 playoffs when Anthony Davis hit that buzzer beater for the win and just yelled Kobe while he was in the hug. The Lakers were wearing the Black Mamba jerseys. That was a cool moment. I just saw a video of that today, and I remember how hyped I was when that happened. So that's more fresh in my mind, but definitely not forgetting.
For sure. So, thank you for 20 years, 21 years, 20. He was drafted. 20 years of excellent basketball play, but more than that, just being a solid human, an ambassador for basketball. And a role model for a lot of people, both in the basketball community and outside of the basketball community. So, thank you, Kobe. And I'd like to know that you're watching or listening to us. So, happy Mamba Day, everyone. So, I guess we need to transition into something a little lighter. All of us are wearing hats of baseball teams that are on fire, on fuego. My Braves had won 9 in a row before running into Stefan's Yankees, who have now won 10 in a row. And Jack's Dodgers have won 9 in a row. So of the three, who do you think is the hottest team in baseball? And who, are you looking at any Yankees World Series bets, Dodgers World Series bets, Braves World Series bets? What are we thinking, guys?
Honestly, if you would have talked to me about a week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks ago, I would have told you were crazy. But a month ago, I for some reason had some money in my bookie account. So I'm like, let me go put $50 on the Yankees to win the World Series. And I'm just like, because I had put the Buccaneers bet, I had put a Lightning bet, and I was like, let me just put a Yankees bet in there.
How much was it? Like plus 2,000?
It was $50 to win, I think 800 or something. It was something that high. It was like 50 to win 800. So I'm like, okay. I was like, whatever. It was like free play kind of money, but I get that money if I win. Yeah. And I'm looking at it now. I'm like, wait, they're back from the dead. They're at 73 wins. I'm like, no way. They're plus 2.5 in the wild card. I'm like, this is what we thought was over with. They came back out of nowhere. The bombs are coming in. The Bronx is not gonna die that easy.
Yeah, and of course, Yankees Braves at Truist Park. I think 7:00 Eastern, maybe 7:15 Eastern. Exciting game. The game yesterday was the first time two teams coming in were facing each other, both on 9-game winning streaks since 1901. To put that into perspective, Teddy Roosevelt was president. That's 120 years ago.
Oh, wow.
The World Series wasn't a thing yet. There'd been only two Olympiads, 1896 and 1900. Come on now. That was such a cool stat. It sucks that the Braves had to lose, but Atlanta has won 13.
Jersey too.
Yeah.
Man, he's got the timing for that jersey perfectly.
Should I get my jersey?
Oh my goodness. The Braves have won 13 straight road games. Now I know they've played the Marlins and the Nationals and the Orioles and the I get it. They're playing bums, but to win 13 straight at any point is ridiculous, and it's the sort of thing that Atlanta is taking advantage of, like the easier part of their schedule. Now they're going to play the Yankees today, and they might lose today, and it's going to happen. And you just have to take advantage of the games that you should win. And it's a very different situation. If they had won, I don't know, if they'd won 2 out of 3 in all of those series, and instead of winning 9 in a row, we're like 6-3. That's still a solid stretch, but you're kind of like questioning, right? They just swept through everybody, and it was really impressive. The offense came alive. The relievers outside of Will Smith have been fantastic for like a month now. The infield is hitting. All 4 guys are over 800 OPS. Now, granted, Truist Park is essentially Coors, but kind of. Offensive numbers are going to be a little bit inflated, but all 4 guys are raking. The outfield has been producing with Soler and Duvall. Jock Peterson has been playing okay in center as well. Travis d'Arnaud is back from paternity leave after, I think, 60-day IL stint. And it's just exciting, and Oscar, is back. Freed and Morton have been pitching well. And it's just an exciting time to be a Braves fan. Because all season it's like, oh, the Mets and the Phillies, the Mets and the Phillies, the Mets and the Phillies. The Braves can't get over 500. And the Braves went from 52 and 54 to and then won 16 of their next 18. One of the best stretches in franchise history, not just the last 10 years, not just whatever. So I'm really impressed with what the Braves have done over the last month or so. And Jack, tell us about your Dodgers.
I mean, I was just about to talk about how the Dodgers are pitching depth has been kind of a problem because everybody keeps getting hurt. But the Dodgers literally just tweeted a minute ago that Julio Urias, however you say, I can never say his name right, but
I think Urias,
World
Series hero Julio Urias.
Indeed,
I think it's
he's just been activated from the injured list. But yeah, that's kind of been the Dodgers' problem all year, has been injuries, and they're still like right there. Like, what are they like? I think last I checked, they were like a game and a half, 2 games away off of the Giants.
I believe they have the second best record in baseball. I could be wrong. Tampa's still up there. They're second or third best record in baseball. And, we've talked about it before. There's like 25 All-Stars on this team. Like you
Actually,
could.
yeah. 78 and 47, and the Giants are 80 and 44.
There you go.
That's just simply ridiculous. And I do want to shout out the Giants. I know, say, on MLB Power Rankings, people are mad that, the Giants are the best record. Why aren't they number one? Shout out to the Giants. They have been raking all year. I still think they're number one in homers in the majors. The pitching staff has been terrific. Kevin Gausman was Cy Young caliber for 3 months. He's fallen off a little bit. Alex Wood, Logan Webb, Johnny Cueto. It's been a very solid effort all around. And when you're good at everything, you can win a lot of games. And just congratulations to the Giants. I don't have any World Series bets on you, but it is nice to have like a likable Giants team. Because I hated the 2010, 2012, and 2014 teams. Those are just some of the most annoying teams I can think of. But now it's like kind of likable now. You have Yastrzemski, and you have Longoria, and you have Chris Bryant, and you have Buster Posey, who's
I was
now
bummed when Chris Bryant went to the Giants. I was like, I really like this guy.
So is he.
Against him.
I wonder what's going to update on Chris Bryant now, because we saw him leaving the Cubs. He was crying. I wonder if he's smiling now at the top of the MLB world.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, solid chance at his second World Series there in San Fran. So exciting times. Baseball is ramping up.
Who's not ramping up though are the Padres.
Oof. Yeah, it's been a little rough for them. You get Tatis back. He starts in right field, which I know I talked about on a different show that. If they were playing in center field, if they played Tatis in center, I would have had to go to Petco Park and like slap some people because you're replacing a Gold Glove caliber center fielder in Trent Grisham, like with a guy that's never played the outfield. Right field, okay, but it is kind of funny to me. Jack, I can touch on this with Mookie Betts that when he plays second base, he's a much more valuable player than when he plays right field. Sure. And Tatis going from shortstop to right field is the inverse of that. So every home run that Tatis hits as a right fielder counts less in terms of like his WAR because the average right fielder is a better hitter than the average shortstop. So I think that's just funny. Yeah.
Corey Seager would like to beg to differ with you, but.
Yeah, shortstop or the Padres have been, scuttling. I believe Philly took 2 out of 3, which of course sucks as a Braves fan, but it's just been a mess and it's weird. And now they're out of a playoff spot. The Reds have overtaken them for the number 2 wildcard spot.
The Reds,
like, what are you doing? You have Darvish and Musgrove and Snell and Tatis and Machado and Hosmer and Cronenworth and Myers and Grisham and I guess now Tatis is playing in right. And Tommy Pham, my boy, like Mark Melancon, you have a loaded team. You have perhaps the best roster outside of the Dodgers in baseball. And now you're the number 6 team in the NL. That's, I don't know. I'm not a Padres fan, but you can't be happy with the performance in the last couple weeks. You're kind of just tanking it right now, and you hate to see it when you have a team as talented as them not live up to their potential. But what a strange year for the Padres.
Indeed.
So, Jack, do you have some MLB City Connect jerseys for us to go
we're
through?
actually gonna segue this because we've got our thumbs up, thumbs down coming up right now. So we're gonna be taking a look at the MLB City Connect jerseys now that all of them have been released. We're going to look back on them. Were they good? Thumbs up. Were they not? Thumbs down.
All right. Sounds good.
So we're going to start with the Boston Red Sox. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
I know the lighting in here sucks, but I am doing a thumbs up.
Okay. Do you want to elaborate?
I'll defend this. This is the idea here is City Connect to the city. So, like from would I wear it in MLB The Show? No. Is it a pretty jersey? No. But does it mean something to Boston? Yes. And I'm not even from Boston, and I know this is, I believe these are the Boston Marathon colors.
Yeah,
Right?
I think like I was just seeing it here. This is designed to look like a race bib from a marathon.
Yeah, like I think that's very cool, and it connects well with the city, and you don't even have to be from the city to know what it means. I think great job. I can understand why you guys don't like it. Like it's not a particularly appealing
I feel
color.
bad now.
It
Like-
reminds me of the Brooklyn Nets and what they've tried to do with their
Yeah.
city or with some of their.
That's fair. That's fair. The text is a little boring. Like I think I like
That's
the
like a
idea
soccer
more than the.
jersey almost to me.
That's fair. I
Yeah.
like the idea more than the execution.
Exactly, I can agree with that.
Okay.
Moving on, we have the Miami Marlins.
Is there another picture of that, like the back of it? Oh, I like that. Yeah.
There's this. There's
Yeah.
this.
That's icy. I like it a lot. I like a lot of what the Marlins do. I hate that they're in the division, so I'm kind of like reluctant to buy things. But they have had such a cool color scheme since '93. Like whether it's the teal and black, or now with the orange and the yellows and the blues and stuff. Just
And then back to the teal and black.
yeah, just like beautiful stuff all around. So I think this is a really solid jersey.
Yeah, for sure. Chicago White Sox.
I wish I had a third
Yeah.
thumb.
I like that. It reminds me of like the Clippers almost when they tried their LA stuff
Yeah.
with their jersey. I like that.
This is clean though. I really like this. The
attention to
south side
detail too. You
on
know.
here. Yeah, there's a lot of detail in there. Inspired by the city's Greystone architectural style. I think this is nice. I really like
No,
the
that's-
colors
that's-
that they
yeah.
use.
Yeah, if I had to buy
The
one, this is
pinstripe.
my favorite. I hate to be spoiled, but this is my favorite one. I would definitely buy a Luis Robert, or actually really any of the White Sox, but a Luis Robert Southside jersey would look pretty nice.
Okay, moving on. The Chicago Cubs.
Yeah. It's just.
It feels a little bland for
Yeah.
the
It's
Cubs.
just,
Like,
I don't know.
I understand the Wrigleyville thing, but I don't.
I do want to
Again-
throw out that like the emblem with the like can you
This one.
yeah, there you go. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. The like based on the Chicago flag, it is a beautiful flag. It is a beautiful design. That's beautiful. I just think the jersey as a whole, I don't know. It doesn't
It's
like
meh.
It
Yeah,
falls flat.
It's exactly how Flatch is trying to explain it. It's like,
like
you
if
can't-
you just if it said Cubs, or if it said Chicago, or if it's I'm not a big fan of the Wrigleyville. Like Boston was nice. South side, I like the South side. So and then the Miami is nice, but Wrigleyville, I don't know about that.
that's the
one.
bottom of my list right now of favorite ones. That's
Yeah.
just yeah.
And to me, it's the bottom more so that the others are really good more than this
Yeah.
is bad. But this is kind of underwhelming. This is
Yeah,
like
that's kind of what I agree. Like you look at a logo like this, and if I would seen this logo first, I was like, oh, maybe this has the
Yeah.
potential to be a really good City Connect jersey, but then it just falls flat.
like it's like a 5 or a 6 out of 10, which in a grand
Fair enough.
scheme of jerseys isn't awful, but
No.
in these, which I've generally like, it's not my favorite.
Okay, the Arizona Diamondbacks.
I'm gonna have to go 50-50 here. There are a lot of things I like about him, but there's like some really weird things with these.
I'm looking. It's
What is it? What does it even say? Serpentines?
No, I'm
What
not
is
digging it.
Can you?
I don't. Yeah, it says serpentines.
I don't know. Actually,
Oh
Is
no,
that
it's
that's a snake. I like the
snakes.
Is it? Yeah, is it snakes in Spanish?
Yeah, it says the serpentines graphic across the chest translates to snakes in Spanish. The
You know what?
translation honors.
I do like that actually because I like the little detail on the snake. I'm gonna flip it back up.
I like the color.
Okay.
I'm,
I didn't
I'm a
realize it
big
was in
fan of the
Spanish.
color
It's
scheme.
It's like a sand color, for like
Yeah.
the Arizona Diamond, like Arizona.
That's a color that the Diamondbacks need to use a little bit more.
Yeah, I like-
so
I like
can
Yeah,
agree in
I
that
agree
sense.
with that. I think this is a solid one. This is like maybe a 7. It's not quite as good as like the White Sox one, but it's better than the Cubs one.
What's
And I like that. I
logo?
like that little logo too. It's
Valley
like-
of the Sun. That's clean.
That's sweet.
I like
Look at
that. I like that. I'm leaning up on these.
You know what? I might go to 50-50 like you. I couldn't read it for a second. I didn't know I could tell it was
Yeah, I had to
Spanish.
look at it closer, but I like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are pretty good. Those
Yeah.
are pretty good.
The Giants.
Should I Click it one more.
I mean, what? This is
I don't like the gradient. Like there are some gradients that look nice. Like I kind of like the Falcons jerseys, for instance, or the old Jags helmets, but
The
I don't
Rams
know.
numbers.
Oh, I do like the Rams numbers. I'm not feeling it with these. I just don't. I
Thank you.
want
Yeah.
to like it. I want to like it. But
It just looks like a white. I don't know. It's just plain to me. It looks boring.
Yeah, it's a plain jersey. They tried a little much with gray, which I get. Like they said, it said at the bottom the inspiration was, I guess, fog, but there's too much white in this for that to make any sense. Like,
yeah, it kind of is
if this
like
was gray, like if this is a gray jersey, and then you had this part stay white, then I guess that would make sense. But like,
Ooh,
it
I
just
like
kind
that.
of blends in right now.
I like that. It looks like the All-Star game jerseys, and I was really underwhelmed with those.
Oh yeah, the All-Star game jerseys were not good. Those were a double thumbs down for me.
Yeah. So these I wouldn't want to wear these in MLB The Show.
No. Call me biased, but these next ones I would want to wear in MLB The Show. We have the Dodgers to wrap things up.
It just looks like every other Dodgers jersey, but like
You're
it's
not
not
wrong.
bad.
You're not wrong.
It looks
You're not
like
The
wrong.
Dodgers, the thing that makes the Dodgers jersey special is the fact that they haven't changed for as long as they have, and they're just
like honestly,
iconic, I guess, at this
I
point.
wouldn't
Like,
even know sometimes what I want to be buying. Sometimes you know what I'm saying? Like that looks nice, but like it just looks the same for me. No disrespect to the Dodgers. It's just like
they're
I don't
not
know.
trying to do anything vastly different. I think other than like this spray paint design, which is
Look,
like it says it.
now
just
that I like.
honors LA's mural.
Oh, I hadn't
culture.
noticed that. That's
I
cool.
understand.
Yeah, that I actually like. Okay,
That's
so
clean.
That's actually yeah. Okay, so that little detail. Honestly, it's still the first one is the White Sox one. I know
Yeah,
it's
well,
last year,
for
but
sure.
that's-
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I think this one's like third.
I'd probably go White Sox, Miami, Boston. This one, Cubs, Giants. Am I missing one?
This is the last one. So
Oh.
Okay, there you go.
I
Okay,
don't think
so
you're missing one, but
I don't know.
I think there were a lot of
it's okay.
complaints that people were saying it didn't say Los Doyers is how you say it in Spanish.
Mhm.
That would
I
be
get-
interesting.
It would have been interesting. I still like this though. I think it's pretty clean. I am actually a fan of them wearing all blue. By the way,
Yeah,
That
I mean,
was-
I can dig
it's
it from
different,
time
but
to
I
time.
like it. So
Like Walker Bueller looks really good in all blue.
oh yeah, he does.
So that was overall a pretty solid look. So shout out to Peyton in the chat. How's it going, man?
Let's go, indeed.
Yeah, for sure. So we're gonna have to pump the brakes a little bit. Travis Etienne, Liz Frank out for the season, officially out for the season. This isn't he can come back week 50. No, he wasn't on the 53-man roster for Jacksonville. So when he was put on injured reserve, it is a long-term injured reserve. That means his season's over, and it just sucks. And we were talking before this, so Stefan mentioned, is this like the football gods, the fantasy gods, like cursing the Jags because they wasted a pick on a running back? I not opposed to that idea. I am a follower of the football gods. I do think my teams are cursed, especially the Braves.
The Jaguars are definitely cursed.
I just
There
think
were
it
some
made no
Jags
sense,
fans.
you
I'm going to
know?
go in a little bit of a different direction here. There were some Jags fans that were talking crap towards me when they were like, "Oh, CJ Henderson is going to be that dude. Like, we don't need Jalen Ramsey anymore. You can take him. CJ Henderson's that good." Jalen Ramsey's the best cornerback in football,
Wait, aren't they like shopping him now?
and they're shopping
Yeah,
CJ
they
Henderson.
stopped shopping CJ
So
Henderson.
it's just funny to see how well that aged.
They'll be lucky to get a third round pick for him.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I'm just saying, I think they're gonna hold him out. Like, no team's gonna want to take him away yet, and if they do, they're gonna want to try to like swoop Jacksonville just to get rid of him because he's not happy there. So it's just like almost like a Jalen Ramsey situation. Who's gonna give up first? Jacksonville is still a few years away from being. Just I don't know.
It's
Trevor
such a weird
Lawrence.
thing.
What have you guys seen from Trevor Lawrence? The one highlight I distinctly remember was last week when Lawrence just went on a QB scramble and just took a huge hit and gave the entire city of Jacksonville a heart attack.
Yeah.
Remember that
was
list
last
that we
night, right?
said, Flash, that last week that we had the top 5 was it rookie quarterbacks?
Yeah, I
And
think
that
he
had
was
Trey Lance.
third.
He's only on a 5 after what I saw. After this week, like if I can adjust my rankings, I'm putting Zach Wilson at 2, putting Justin Fields at 3. I'm putting this guy at 5 right now. Not because of him, it's just his team. Because he had that one good play where it was like I think it was on the 5-10 yard line where he had like I think it was a play action boot and he throws on the run kind of like a perfect I don't know, I gotta find the pass but it was beautiful.
Okay, guys, did you watch the game last night? There was one rep that the left tackle tried to like set up really wide, and Carl Granderson, number 96 in New Orleans, just totally ended his career. Like just boom, 350 pounds on the turf right then and there. And Lawrence, Minshew had to like scramble out. It's like, bro, what the heck? What kind of pass set was that? So that was one of the funniest things I've ever seen on a football field. So that was I wanted to throw that out there. That Carl Granderson just ended the man's life.
I think about Urban Meyer yet.
It's preseason. That's the only issue.
Yeah,
and I know
I'm just checking in to see. I'm going to check into key points of the season and see our little opinions.
I don't know. So if we're ranking the rookie quarterbacks, I think Mac is 1, Zach is 2, Fields and Lawrence I think are 50-50, 3-4. I think Fields has had the higher end stuff, but he's also had a couple like just total like, what are you doing? He's had some rookie moments.
Yeah, he's definitely had some rookie moments, but I would still be a little frustrated at thinking about the whole quarterback situation in Chicago, like knowing, again, he's had rookie moments and he does need to learn and improve before he can be a starter in this league. Every rookie does, but knowing what he is capable of doing compared to Andy Dalton, and your coach has insisted that Andy Dalton's going to start week 1 against Aaron Donald. That's the thing, though. Do you really want Justin Fields to start his NFL career by getting destroyed by Aaron Donald?
I think he's more elusive, though, than Andy Dalton, enough to kind of not evade Aaron Donald, but be more of like a mobile quarterback. And that's why I think he's giving him the start going into this last preseason game. Because if he goes and balls out, remember where Russell Wilson, Matt Flynn signed that big contract to Seattle? Yep. It was a preseason game. I think if Justin Fields does enough to prove to Nagy that he can start week 1, I say they put Andy Dalton in for a few series, and then you know what? They got to cut him back, put Fields in, and see how it goes. It happened with Flacco and Lamar Jackson. It's like
Flacco.
It's like you need to do this to see if this guy's ready. Of course, you need to start Andy Dalton because he's a veteran, but you can't go too long because Splash had his little rant a while ago, and he wasn't wrong that if you wait too long to start this guy, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah,
and to be fair, the word is start. Does not mean finish. So who knows?
Yeah. You could have a Tua and Fitzpatrick thing, which I don't know about that. But
that was annoying.
Didn't the Ravens do that with Lamar a couple of times?
Oh, no. Lamar
and Flacco?
No, Lamar
when it got bad, I think with Flacco, they started to integrate Lamar, and then when it just got to a point with them, they were just like, all right, Lamar, just take it, and then we're going into next year. We know what you're going to do.
Yeah, so the first 9 games, Lamar, I think, only played in 2. We killed the Bills 47-3 week 1. He played like the fourth quarter of that game.
Imagine
and then
Bills.
we were getting bent over by Carolina, so Lamar came in and threw a touchdown to Hayden Hurst. After the second Pittsburgh game, Flacco had like a little neck injury. So Lamar, we went into the bye, preparing for Lamar. Week 11, Bengals, Lamar comes out. Flacco was inactive. So it was Lamar QB1, RG3 QB2, and the rest of the season, Lamar finished 6 of the 7 games. The game that he didn't finish, I guess, he didn't finish the Chiefs game because he got drilled like on 2nd and 12 in overtime, and then RG3 came in on 3rd and 4th down. And I want to say RG3 played like a series in the Atlanta game because Lamar got hit, or like did something happen to Lamar?
I don't remember it completely.
Yeah, so RG3 did play a couple of series, but after Flacco left, like Flacco's last pass as a Raven was against the Steelers week 9. So yeah. So shout out to Lamar Jackson.
Seem to remember that whole thing, that whole sequence with Lamar. But
so I'm gonna play devil's advocate ever so slightly for Andy Dalton, and I know this is I don't mean to go against my PSA. I would still start Justin Fields week 1, but I think with Dalton you do get average quarterback play.
Sure.
Fields will give you a higher floor and will give you a higher ceiling, but he is going to have some of those, what the heck are you doing, rookie things. I don't think Dalton does that. I think Dalton has been a little disrespected throughout his career because he's always been an average quarterback, and there's really nothing wrong with being an average quarterback. You can win with an average quarterback. The 2015 Bengals started 8-0, and with a healthy Dalton, they're not the 3 seed. They would be in the divisional round of the playoffs, and you might be the 1 seed. They went 12-4. AJ McCarron started the last couple games for them. If you flip any of those games, they finished 13-3 and they're the 1 seed. And then they get to play Pittsburgh with Andy Dalton, not AJ McCarron. And you can think, well, Dalton's better than McCarron. So you're talking about a Bengals team that could have been in the AFC title game with the Broncos / Patriots having to head to Paul Brown Stadium for a chance to go to the Super Bowl. So I think Andy Dalton has a bit of a bad rep. Although I will say that an average quarterback is falling down the list. So if you did a list 1 through 32, like Kirk Cousins to me is a pretty average quarterback. There is an argument Kirk Cousins is like quarterback 20, just because he doesn't have as high of a floor as everyone. Like his bad games are really bad, and like say you can argue Lance, Fields, Cam, Hurts. You can argue like the running quarterbacks that have an established floor, like a Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, the upper echelon guys in that regard. But the average quarterback is falling down your rankings because there's so many talented guys. There's so many Mahomes, and even like the Cars of the world is really talented, and Herbert is really talented. And man, it's just a little goofy. I think Dalton does get a bad rep, and I think he's better than people think he is. I would still start Fields 100%, but I don't think the Bears are going to be awful either way. And even last year, he had no offseason. He wasn't taking any reps over Dak Prescott, and then he's thrown in week 5 against the Giants. He was okay. Then he gets COVID like 2 weeks later, and that just totally derails his season. So you're talking no offseason, new team, new system. You're QB2. It's not even like you were in the limited reps you did have. You weren't practicing with the CeeDee Lambs and Gallups and Coopers and Zekes and the offensive line. You were practicing with no one because you had limited practice reps. So I do want to push back. Me saying Fields should start isn't anti-Andy Dalton. It's pro-Justin Fields.
Yeah, I mean, Andy Dalton, I feel like he was sort of like, I want to say like more well respected. I think a little bit more during the when he came in, the portion of the season when he came in and had to play for Dallas for a couple of games. I don't think he finished the season, obviously, because I remember they were talking about Ben DiNucci and some other guys.
Ben DiNucci is so bad.
Ben DiNucci.
More like Ben DeCrappy.
But Dalton, I think, knows.
Garrett Gilbert played some games for Dallas. Dallas was just a hot mess last year. I do want to address Frankie's question. Shout out Frankie. Will Gus Edwards get more carries than Jk Dobbins this year? Need some fantasy advice here. No. Here's why. And even if he did, we haven't seen that. Edwards has been the running back 2 his entire time. The Dobbins is going to have more touches. So if you play in any sort of PPR, whether it's half point or full point, Dobbins is going to have more value there because Dobbins is going to be the better pass catching threat. I think Dobbins is going to be
the best handcuff to have, though. I'll say that much.
Edwards is actually worth having rostered, even like as like his own entity, right? It's like the like James White for the Patriots. You can have James White and not have to have him handcuff anyone. No, yeah, you can just have James White, and he's a perfectly viable fantasy option. I think Edwards can be your flex, and you can be fine. It's Baltimore is so weird because you want to say, oh, they have 3 guys with Lamar and Edwards and Dobbins, and you're like, yeah, none of them are going to be that high. Last year, Lamar was top 10 quarterback. Dobbins was, I believe, in the
15 at the end by the end of the season.
I think he was a little lower. Like the last month of the season, the Ravens had the number. I don't know if he was exactly number 1, maybe number 2 to Josh Allen, but you had a star fantasy quarterback and you had 2 running backs in the top 25. And Baltimore,
that's what they do. And
there's a chance all 3 of them run for 1,000 yards this season. So I do think Dobbins.
Gus Edwards too.
Yeah, there's a chance because I really want to see it happen. So Edwards has had 700 yards each of the last 3 seasons. You throw in a 17th game, you throw in a couple extra carries. That's 750 to 800. It's the kind of thing if John Harbaugh and Greg Roman think about it and they're going into like week 15, week 16, week 17, and week 18, Dobbins is at 1,000 yards. Lamar's at 1,000 yards. Why don't you just run out
Yo,
Jk Dobbins and steamroll over? We play Pittsburgh week 18, so that's a scary matchup. But hey, Edwards has killed Pittsburgh the last 2 years when Lamar wasn't there. So
don't you play us the week before?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So if you're, look, I would take Dobbins over Edwards in any format.
And Dobbins is going in the third round at least, minimum.
Yeah, like Dobbins is going to be a top 20 running back.
Yeah.
And before you say, well, Lamar, also think about how efficient the rushing offense is. So Baltimore is the one place that you don't actually need to have an obscene amount of volume to produce. Dobbins was the most efficient running back on a points per touch basis last year. Well, points per rush. He was getting 0.6 points per rush. He averaged 6 yards a carry. The only people ahead of them, Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson. Remember those quarterbacks? He was a league winner. Yeah, like Jk Dobbins ran for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns against Cincinnati. He went bonkers in that game. And I know I've had this conversation with Frankie before that Dobbins didn't have more than 15 carries in any game. Okay, he still ran for 800 yards.
It's what he does with the carries that counts.
He still scored like 10 touchdowns.
Yeah. You can have 10 carries and 100 yards if you're that good and 2 touchdowns. Didn't he have that one game where he came on the scene with like 2 touchdowns and like?
Yeah, week 1 he had 2 touchdowns against Cleveland.
Yeah, and we were like, oh my god, he's gonna go crazy. And then he kind of disappeared for a little bit. Then when he reemerged, and in fantasy especially, he reemerged at the time where you needed him to win. In those key championship rounds where you had to come up there, he's there. Gus Edwards is a great, say, 10 and on round to get. A handcuff or a guy you want to have just in case. Say you get believe in that.
He's a guy that could get you maybe not 10 points every single week, but he's a guy that if he as a flex option could get you 10 points in any random week. Like I'm not going to say he's going to get you 10 points every week. Like Lamar Jackson's never had a week that he started the week and didn't get 10 fantasy points, for example.
But he might get you he might have that game where you might not think of it, but then he gets you 25 points, and then of course he might revert back to his 10-point, a little lower. But he might get you those boom or bust games. So it's really
that's the beauty of the Baltimore offense. That yes, there is some volatility there, but it tends towards good volatility, right? There are very few bad games for the Ravens rushing attack. I want to say out of all of Lamar Jackson's starts, there have been like 2 games that they average under 4 yards a carry. That is ridiculous. That's
insane.
No team in the NFL does that.
What has he been starting since like 2019?
Yeah, so he has 37 regular season starts. So I actually want to transition. I know this wasn't on a script, but I know Lamar came out and said today, or someone in the Ravens media was like, hey, there's people around the NFL think this is going to be finally going to be the year that Lamar Jackson gets found out. And Lamar was like, no. So I want to touch on that with the whole Ravens scheme, there's no evidence that it's been found out to me. The only, when people say, oh, the Ravens can't win the Super Bowl, I don't disagree with you because we can't beat Kansas City, but you look at it and no one really stops the Ravens. The Ravens more so stop themselves, and it's an odds game. You can't win every game. The Chiefs don't win every game. The 2007 Patriots didn't win every game, and they're the most dominant team I've ever seen. You look at Baltimore, and they just clobber teams, and they clobber teams in a manner that other teams don't care about. The only teams in the NFL that care about beating the Ravens are the Bengals, the Browns, and the Steelers. Every other team really doesn't care. Kansas City probably doesn't care because Kansas City knows they can beat Baltimore, right? And beyond Kansas City, every other team is focused on beating Kansas City or Tampa if you're in the NFC. So when the Ravens play the Rams this year, or the Vikings, or the Packers, or the Lions, or the Bears, none of those teams care about beating the Ravens. Like they'll have that like in the week care. But if you go through their season and you tell them you're going to lose to Baltimore, they're going to run for 250 yards and Lamar Jackson's going to have 3 touchdowns, they're not going to care. It doesn't affect them as much as other games do. So that's one thing with
it'll affect us because we're going to have banter on our show either way, no matter which way the game goes. But
okay, that's true.
The teams, the players, the grand scheme of things, unless the Rams somehow are like fighting for a playoff spot.
Mm-hmm. Like of course in the week it could matter, but in the scope of a full season, no. Like if I told you, hey, the Ravens are going to beat the Rams 31-24, I don't think you're mad.
No, I'm not.
If I tell you, if you lose to the Cardinals, then you might be mad that you lost a division game. Or if I told Stefan
it's more of a
the Bucs are
severe
going to lose
loss.
to the Saints, like, yeah, you're going to be mad.
It goes back to your Cowboys thing. If you lose to the Cowboys week 1, okay, well, it sucks, but like, okay, it's not going to kill us. But like,
yeah, exactly. If you lose to New Orleans, that's annoying. Or if you lose to Carolina, that's annoying.
That's a whole different ballgame, yeah.
Yeah, when people are out there that say the Ravens offense is going to take a step back, the Ravens offense has been found out. Let me point you back to the losses the Ravens have. It's not because the offense wasn't working. It was because they had the NFL is a game of odds. The Ravens are as good as any team in the NFL, I would argue NFL history, at making the odds go in their favor. Now, it doesn't always work out. There are times that they're going to fail on 4th and 1. There'll be times that they fail on 4th and 2. There are going to be times that they have 3rd and 2, 2 chances to run the ball, and they don't get it. Cool. They still average 5.5 bloody yards per carry for a reason. So you look at what they do on a snap-to-snap basis, and no other team can match that level of efficiency. Even you look at Kansas City, Mahomes, what makes him so special is that he can convert on those 3rd and 12s, and he converts to them at such a ridiculous rate, and it's such an outlier. And this is why he's different from, like, say, Carson Wentz, who did this phenomenally well in 2017, and then the last 3 years he hasn't. Or one reason why I think Justin Herbert takes a statistical step back is because the 3rd and longs don't always work unless you're Patrick Mahomes. And even Mahomes had a stretch last year that the Chiefs just couldn't convert on 3rd and 12 or longer. So when you tell me that the Ravens are going to get found out, Lamar Jackson's going to get found out, you don't stop the caliber of athlete that Lamar Jackson is. You have to you do other things. You look at the games the Ravens have lost. We'll go to Buffalo. 2 missed field goals by Baltimore, a red zone interception that turned into a pick 6. So if Justin Tucker, the most accurate kicker in the history of the NFL, makes those field goals, it's 17-9. And if Lamar Jackson doesn't throw an interception, or hey, if Tyler Phillips blocks the play before and you throw a touchdown, guess what? The Ravens win that game. Now, I will say that Buffalo missed 2 field goals, so I'm not telling the entire story, but you get what I'm saying. Then you go back to the Titans playoff game. I have never seen a game swing so far in the wrong direction, because of 10 plays. Every single play that mattered went to Tennessee. I think I've talked about this before, that every 4th down the Ravens were stopped on. That doesn't happen ever. How often does a team go 0 for 4 on 4th and how often does a team go 0 for 2 on 4th and 1s? Rarely. 4th and 1s are heavily skewed towards the offense, especially when Lamar Jackson's on the field. How often do you have, how often does the other team have 1-play drives? Not too terribly often. You had the Khalif Raymond touchdown. That's a 1-play drive. You had another drive that started in the red zone. You had another drive that has 66-yard run from Derrick Henry. Oh, poof, you're already inside the 10. So when Baltimore loses games, it's more of an odds just kind of don't go their way. They're going to have a 70% chance to win every game they play. And I'm as willing to admit as anyone that means there's a 30% chance they lose. There are very few games that I go in and saying, yep, there's a 100% chance Baltimore wins this game, because there's just simply not. They lost to New England. That was the most confident I've ever been in the Ravens game. They lost. So Baltimore has a really high floor, and I would argue a really high ceiling. There's a reason they've scored the most points in the NFL the last 2 years, and even if you take out defensive touchdowns, because Baltimore is at the top of the league in those, even if you take out defensive touchdowns and special teams touchdowns, Baltimore still scored the most points in the NFL. And it's not particularly close. It's an extra point per game over everyone else. So again, you don't stop the caliber of athlete Lamar Jackson is, so you have to hope Lamar Jackson takes a step back as an athlete in his own right, which why? No other 4th-year quarterback just randomly takes a step back in their athleticism.
Jared Goff.
But Jared Goff wasn't even an athlete.
I'm teasing.
So
that's true. He's a statue.
So I don't know. I just wanted to address it. I think I can understand being hesitant on Baltimore. I get it. I have them closer to 10 in my power rankings than a lot of people do. And I've had them outside of my top 10 at points in the offseason. But that's more on the defense than the offense. And you say that, Lamar Jackson is limited as a passer. Okay. Tom Brady is limited as a passer. He can't move. He makes it work. Lamar Jackson's made it work, and I have a bevy of stats to tell you, yeah, Lamar Jackson's made it work as a passer. There's a reason Baltimore had the most efficient passing offense in 2019 by EPA. There's a reason, and also the rushing offense. I think I've said this before. The rushing offense was so good that if it ranked as a passing offense, it'd be top 10. Most other teams in the NFL have a negative EPA on run plays. The Ravens had a good enough one to be a top 10 passing offense. So I just love that stat. I think they would have been 8th overall and closer to Kansas City than like the worst in the league. So yeah, I think to figure out Lamar Jackson, you have to fundamentally change the way you play football. And for 28 of the other 31 teams, they just simply don't care. Vegas isn't going to care about stopping Baltimore. They're built to stop Kansas City. They're built to compete with Denver. They're built to compete with the Chargers. Week 2, Kansas City, same thing. Kansas City does not care about Baltimore. Denver week 3 does not care about Baltimore. Detroit week 4 does not care about Baltimore. If you beat Baltimore, it's because, a variety of things went your way. Then, look, again, I've said it earlier, there's like a 70% chance Baltimore wins a game. If they lose, it's because a 4th down didn't go their way, a 3rd down didn't go their way, they get a bad snap here, one play goes wrong, whatever. And it's not because a team stops Lamar Jackson. The only team that I can really think of that, Lamar is the sole reason why they lost this game was probably the Pittsburgh game in 2020 that he had 4 turnovers and had a third fumble that he didn't lose it, he just dropped it. So there's my Lamar Jackson rant for the day.
Should we move to hot takes?
Yeah, let's do it. Let me pull them up real quick.
We have some good ones this time.
I think so.
That are gonna make us. I just can't top that CeeDee Lamb reaction. I want something though.
Okay, there we go. I hope Kevin Gosman to the IL. That's unfortunate. What do you guys think of Derrick Henry in fantasy? Is he like QB1 or running back 1, running back 2? Because I know
Henry, Kamara, Dalvin Cook.
I'd probably have him at 3. I'd say McCaffrey and Kamara. Then I'd take Henry.
I would take Kamara and assuming McCaffrey stays healthy. I'd take him.
I think Henry gets 30 catches this year.
That could happen. I know
they've like 1,500 yards. I think he's still going to have at least 12 touchdowns. I think 4 receiving touchdowns, maybe 5, and like 400 yards. Something like that.
Okay, so if my laptop dies and the hot take meter goes, we'll just finish it off. All right, we have hot take number 1 from FTV 1939. Water is 50% wet.
I mean,
okay.
The water is water wet debate.
Is it? Please, someone answer this for us. We'll never know. Is it? Is
there like a scientific finalized answer?
Yeah, scientifically, it's not wet because it makes other things wet.
So am I water?
Yeah, you're like 70% water.
Where did that question come from?
Because it's like I touch the water and I get wet, so it's like I don't know. I'd say
that doesn't turn you into water. No,
I don't know.
That is so funny. All right. Gain Green 24. Urban crumbles and retires by week 10.
Oh my goodness.
If there's a bet, I'm putting $10 on that bet.
Okay.
Just because it could happen.
Okay, that's fair.
Didn't we talk about that actually earlier before we got on?
Yeah.
I was like
I don't know. I don't think it happens. I don't remember exactly the details of his contract, but I would imagine he stays for a few years.
I'm going.
I'd go Serrano.
Yeah, Serrano's probably where I'm at too, because I don't think it's. Yeah, I don't think it's very likely he's going to retire.
Yeah, it's a good idea though, but back pocket it for now.
All right. This is from Bam Bam. Bills don't win the division. I actually don't mind this one. I'm kind of trending up on New England. It's weird for me to say, but I'm trending up on New England.
I feel like if Mac Jones is as advertised, and he can, because you guys, I think both have him as their number 1 of the rookies. I feel like if he plays that way, I feel like New England has a shot.
That defense is just, I think, it's a full healthy defense. A corner, I'm not trying to take it from Madden, but I was looking at the Madden rosters, and I'm looking at Gilmore, J.C. Jackson. I'm like 90 corner, they're deep linebackers, D tackles, or corners, safeties.
For sure.
And you put even Cam Newton or Mac Jones, that defense does what it's supposed to do, they will have a successful season. And then if Buffalo takes a step back or two, loses one game in the division to them and then another game, because Miami's not a joke, so it's not going to be.
They're playing a first place schedule, so you get Kansas City again.
Exactly. So it's going to be interesting. It's definitely not the craziest thing I've heard today, and I could definitely see Belichick coming back to the playoffs after taking a 1 year absence.
I feel like it might just come down to those New England Buffalo games.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know we've talked about it before. I think if New England wants the highest floor possible, they start Cam. With Mac, you might get a better team in the end because there's a chance Mac is a better quarterback than Cam. But I think with Cam, you open up the running game so much, and this team is so designed for Cam. Like I've said it before that Mac is 95% of Cam. But the issue with that is the 5% of Mac that isn't Cam is Cam really raising the floor of this offense and making Damian Harris look a lot better, making the offensive line look a lot better, making every running back that touches the ball a lot better. This is the same thing that Lamar Jackson does, the same thing that Kyler Murray does, that when your quarterback is a number in the run game, it makes it, I don't want to say impossible, but it makes it really, really hard to defend that, because if your quarterback makes one guy miss, which Lamar Jackson does, which Kyler Murray does, which Cam just can run over you at this point, can score in the red zone, it's 10 on 10. Everyone's blocking and Cam's running. So that's a scary spot to be in. That Cam, if everyone holds their block, Cam can run as long as he wants to. And this is like what Lamar Jackson did against the Titans, what Kyler can do with his legs. That you have such a floor. What Jalen Hurts can do with Phil, and that's why I think he's going to be a top 10 fantasy quarterback. And this is what the value that Fields is going to bring, and Lance is going to bring. And I hope New England starts Cam week 1. If they start Mac, I understand, but I hope they start Cam week 1, and I want to see this really, really high floor.
Do you think though? Do you think, like, say they start Cam Newton week 1, and then say 3 weeks later they start Mac Jones? Does the offense adjusting from Cam Newton to Mac Jones hurt them in a way, or do they do that in a kind of a seamless way where, say, Cam starts off and he starts to struggle, Mac comes in, and are they going to pick it back up with Mac, or are they going to just be like how's that going to go, you think, the transition when it does happen, if it happens?
I think it low-key, it hurts the floor. It hurts the floor of the team. Now, it might raise the ceiling, and I think Mac Jones might be a better passer of the quarterback now than Cam is, and that's fine. I just, with the floor and ceiling, there are going to be games the Patriots win because the other team doesn't care about stopping the run. Like I said with Baltimore, that most of the teams on your schedule really don't care about you unless you're Kansas City or Tampa. If you're the best team in the league, everyone cares about you. But if you're Baltimore, no one cares outside of the division. If you're New England, Buffalo's going to kind of care. Miami's going to care. The Jets are going to care. Every other team, like when they roll up to they play Dallas this year, right? The Dallas New England game, those teams don't care about each other. Dallas is not built to beat New England. New England is not built to beat Dallas. So you're going to be able to do a lot of the things you like to do because the other team isn't going to care. Now, if it happens that, say, you run into an elite run defense, like New England's going to play Tampa. Tampa is not built to stop New England, or it did not intend to be built to stop New England specifically, but they should be able to stop New England. But you have Vita Vea, I cannot wait for Vita Vea to be back.
Oh boy.
JPP, Shaq Barrett, Devin White, Levante David, those guys are going to be able to stifle the New England rushing attack to some degree, but they're not necessarily is it Jason Licht? Okay. Buccaneers GM Jason L. He is not saying, all right, here we go, we're going to stop the Patriots this year. No, he's not. He has a nice run defense. Great. It's in a vacuum. It's a great run defense. Is it going to stop New England? I think it's going to do a good job of stopping New England, but it wasn't made with the intention of stopping New England specifically. So
your point basically is that, so Tampa and the Kansas City Chiefs are built on a level that no other team is on their level. It's them two going at it, duking it out. And every other team has to build their team basically around how to beat them, because if they can beat them, they can beat any other team in the league.
Yeah, kind of sort of like that. Okay. So like if you're the Raiders, you probably don't care much about Tampa, but you do care about beating Kansas City. Right. So I think if you're one of the 15 AFC teams other than Kansas City, and there goes my laptop. If you're one of the 15 teams other than Kansas City, You care about beating you care about beating Kansas City, and then you care about the other teams in your division. So if you're the Bengals, you care about beating the Ravens, the Browns, the Steelers, and the Chiefs. If you're, say, the Rams, right, you care about beating the Cardinals, the Seahawks, the Niners, and the Bucks. You want to beat the best team in your conference, but to beat the best team in your conference, you have to beat the other teams in your division to even get there, right?
Exactly.
So, but if you're the Texans,
I'll put it to you this way too. We play the Bucks week 3.
Mm-hmm.
A week 3 game is not going to decide whether or not we have a shot at getting into the playoffs and another chance to face them again.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to help for sure if we win, but it's not. I don't think a week 3 game is going to be the key factor in a 17-game season.
Like if we sweep the division, or if you go like 3-1 and like a better record, it's like, oh, that week 3 loss, like it might have given you like a 1 to 2 seed jump probably, but nothing like.
I mean, it matters because
like,
now only the one, like a 1-2 seed. This is a more specific example because now a 1-2 seed is the difference between whether or not you get a bye. But what does that
and
really
home
matter?
field and a
home field
game.
too? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So with New England, I think you look at it and you have a higher floor with Cam. You have potentially a higher ceiling with Mac because we haven't seen Mac, and Mac has been awesome in the preseason. Now, granted, preseason.
Yeah, yes.
Preseason. Everyone remember it's preseason, but Mac has looked really good, and he had like a 90 PFF grade the other day. Now, granted, PFF, but he's been
all
really
the
good.
Quarterbacks. I mean, like I know Trevor Lawrence has been struggling, but they look like a good quarterback class that's not talked about too much. Say like as they should be. I feel like this class could be one of the classes we look back in 3 years if Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, and all them kind of somewhat don't drown in the water of being a professional, and if they can be above it, you will be talking in 2 years, 3 years. Like remember that 2021 draft class with Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones, Justin Fields, and it's like Trey Lance. Like these are guys that could potentially be the future of the NFL right now, and we're talking about this in 4 or 5 years. We're like, wow.
For sure. This is a great draft class for quarterbacks.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, I said this with the Dalton and Fields thing. This isn't a shot against Dalton. This is me liking Fields. This isn't a shot at Mac Jones, me thinking Cam should start. This is I think Cam just brings something different to the table, and I think that will help you win games with a team that's more so built around Cam rather than Mac, because you look at the weapons, there's 2 tight ends, you're like 2 star tight ends. Your number 1 wide receiver is really Nelson Aguilar. So you don't really want to rely on the pass as much.
You're not depending on that.
And you have an awesome offensive line. I don't think people talk about how good New England's offensive line is. Isaiah Wynn's awesome. Mike Owenwu was unbelievable last year. David Andrews is good. Shaq Mason is awesome. And then you're bringing back Trent Brown. And those are 5+ run blockers and pretty good pass protectors too, but 5+ run blockers. So Damian Harris is going to have an awesome year. Draft him in fantasy. So with that said, my voice is dying a little bit. So let's roll through the last couple hot takes as soon as I can unlock my phone. Okay. Zalafar 79. Lance will not start all 16 games and still win Rookie of the Year.
Oh. Offensive Rookie of the Year, he says.
Yeah. I think it's Najee's to lose.
I mean, it's not a completely like. I don't want to say this is like a cold take, but I feel like this is not Najee. I feel like is going to have a lot more impact.
It's just hard to take it away from him because, like, who else really? I mean, Devonta Smith is on Philadelphia, and they're going to be what they're going to be. But it's like the Najee or nothing, really.
Yeah. I don't know.
I still have Micah Parsons, though, for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
I actually have money on Nick Bolton.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus 3,300.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I think $1 to win 33. So that's nice. This is from Tixa, friend of the show. I win the Fantasy Baseball League. No. No.
I need more context so I can't answer.
Okay. He's the 6th seed. No. He's in the other matchup. So I'm the 3 seed. I'm playing against 5th, right? 5th and goal.
Sure.
The number 1 seed is AV22, the Yankees and Jets fan. Number 2 seed is Baltimore Alec. Then I'm the 3 seed. Tixa is either the 4 or the 5 seed. It doesn't really matter because they're playing each other, but they're playing Evie. I think that Yeah, I think they're playing Evie. And then 5th is the 6th seed. I just lost to 5th, and it was really annoying because I started Chris Archer, the Rays, right? And he went 2 innings, and I wanted him to go like 5 and get the win over the White Sox, so they won like 10-0. So that's annoying. I don't know. He could. AV's been ridiculous this year. Alex won 11 in a row. I was second in scoring, so I'd like to think I'm good. But oh well. Kamish Johnson, Texans defense becomes a top 15 unit. Charles
top 15.
Wow. Oh. Okay. First of all, that's Pepper X.
Pepper X. Yeah.
Charles Amenahue.
Suggesting anything about the Texans will be in the top 20 is automatically Pepper X.
Charles Amenahue will have more sacks than JJ Watt this season. I'm not opposed to that. I think Watt's a little overrated this year.
He has to stay healthy, and he's not. It's.
I think that could happen. Top 15 unit is ridiculous.
I don't even think Watt's the best pass rusher in Arizona.
Oh, no. It's Chandler Jones. I don't think
it's Chandler Jones all day.
All right. If we're talking Pepper, Jabril Peppers is the best dual role safety in the game, defense and special teams. So I actually saw this the other day.
This is from Danny Boy 82202.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that, Danny. I actually saw, I think Ron Rivera was talking about it. Shohei Ohtani is in Baltimore this weekend, and the Washington football team's in Baltimore facing the Ravens for the last preseason game. And someone asked him, hey, who on the team do you think would be good offense and defense? And he said Montez Sweat and Chase Young. If you guys had to pick one player, offense or defense, to play the other position or other side of the ball, who would you take? And why is it Aaron Donald at running back?
It's Aaron Donald at running back. I need to try that out in Madden at some point. Like to put Aaron Donald at running back.
Did I tell you guys about my Lamar Jackson experiment that I put him at running back and he was like an 88 overall and every other quarterback was like under 80? Well, Tyler was like an 81 and then everyone else was like in the 60s. Like Brady was like a 12.
Brady was a 12.
Hey, come on. What are you?
Yeah, I mean,
he's 43 years old.
Yeah, I wonder.
44, right?
Yeah, I think he's 44. 44. All right. We have another Texans one. This is from Tyler White.
I actually want to address the last take really quick. If Corey Littleton was still on the Rams, I would fight this because he was blocking punts left and right in 2018, and then on defense he had a couple pick sixes, I think, too, or he had a pick six at least, but he was playing really solid. So if Corey Littleton wasn't wasting away in Las Vegas, I would completely.
All right. Tyler White says Tyrod Taylor top 15 fantasy quarterback this season. See, okay, I like this, but I don't like it.
What team is even on?
Texans. I like the idea of it with the high floor of a rushing attack. David Culley's going to bring some Baltimore influence, theoretically, and you're going to have a high floor rushing attack. Where are the touchdowns coming from? Where there is, like, at least with Baltimore, they're going to throw for like 3,000 passing yards, and you're going to have, Lamar had 36 touchdowns in 2019, 26 last season. So there is value there. And he has 14 total rushing touchdowns the last 2 years. Where are the touchdowns coming from that Texans offense? Like, I know Brandon Cooks is legally required to get 1,000 yards. I know. Jack, you know as well as anyone that Brandon Cooks will get 1,000 yards. It doesn't matter who's throwing him the football. It doesn't matter who else is in the receiving room. Nothing else matters. He's going to get 1,000 yards. Where are the passing yards coming from? And where are the passing touchdowns coming from? And where are the rushing touchdowns coming from?
Nico Collins is going to be one.
I do like Nico.
I like him a little bit. Because I think there's no one else, like you said. You were naming all these nobody's really. And there's 1,000+ yards left for someone else to catch the balls from him. It might be the 17 running backs they have, or the 5 quarterbacks they're throwing on the ball.
Davis Mills, really?
I don't even know what's going on.
I see. Okay, this is like Jalen Hurts, I think, is without a doubt the best quarterback in Philly. Tyrod Taylor, is better than Davis Mills, but Davis Mills is at least like a prospect, and you kind of want to see what you're doing. Remember, that was Houston's first pick. Houston spent their first pick on Davis Mills. They think he's going to do something, so I would imagine he plays.
Tyrod somehow get hurt again, and Davis Mills.
It's the Tyrod Taylor curse. It's like we hype him up. He's going to be this. He's going to be that. He plays maybe 1 game or 2 games, and next thing you know, there's the new Messiah.
He's sitting on the bench. Literally last season, it
gets stabbed.
He gets stabbed by his own team doctor. Shout out to the Chargers for that failure. Yeah. And then Justin Herbert comes in, and so as a notorious Charger hater, I have snapped back and gone wow multiple times at Justin Herbert.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I like the idea. I like having running value in fantasy for quarterbacks. I don't see it. Even like I could pull it up. Even when he was in Buffalo, the fantasy value just really has never been there with Tyrod. Like you'd like to think it is, but he's just never been like
that guy.
Yeah, like if you go to his fantasy page, the highest he's ever finished as a quarterback is, and remember he had a couple years that he started 15. Okay, he was QB 8 in 2016. That's the only year he's been top 15. He was QB 16 the 2 years the 2 years around that. So if you just look at his like the passing production, you have to have some level of passing production. He's had 3,000 yards in a season twice, but I think he's more of a good real life quarterback than a fantasy quarterback. Like he has like a 14-4 touchdown to interception ratio in his last full season as starter. That's awesome. That is really, really good. It's just 14 touchdowns in 15 games isn't anything special.
Right.
So I think this is our last one.
We got
two more. Okay. Respect my 40. Titans winning the Super Bowl. He calls it a milk take. I don't
Splash,
trust
I
the
feel
defense.
I was gonna say I feel like you could find a path for this team to potentially win the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have perhaps the best offense in the NFL. Yeah, you're gonna have an argument of having the best offense in NFL history. I don't know.
There's a
You have a
chance.
6,000 plus yard team, an offense like 4,500 yards rush or
It's
pass.
just, do you trust that defense enough?
No,
I don't trust the defense.
right.
Actually, hear me out. Jeffrey Simmons, I have in my All-Pro team, and it's not even like a hot take thing. It's like I actually believe Jeffrey Simmons can be an All-Pro this season.
Okay.
Bud Dupree is gonna do, I guess, things cool. I really like the Caleb Farley pick.
A lot of people are fans of that. I don't disagree.
I guess I can see it. I don't think they will. I don't think they beat Kansas City. I said earlier, it's about beating Kansas City. I don't think Tennessee can beat Kansas City. Kansas City is going to score 50 points on them. Now, granted, Kansas City can't stop Tennessee, but Kansas City has Patrick Mahomes. So I think there's my like tiebreaker.
All right.
So
AFC's packed, man.
Yeah, super excited.
A great team to watch though. Like on game days, they're gonna be explosive.
Yeah, Game Pass. You're just gonna watching that offensive line work is awesome. All right, last hot take from Sam T. Zach Wilson and the Jets' revamped offense end the season within the top 12 in all offensive categories.
So, how much is this offense actually revamped?
I mean, they're all getting injured left and right now, so I don't know what's left in the offense.
Yeah, I mean, okay, you have an upgraded quarterback,
sure,
upgraded wide receiver, sure. Corey Davis and Elijah Moore, etc. I guess technically upgraded running back if you think Michael Carter, upgraded offensive line, Elijah.
You have two Michael Carters, by the way.
Yeah, great. Shout out to Michael Carter II. I see. Here's I'm going to push back on this. I'm going to be very technical. How many categories are you talking about? Top 12? Like, say
he says all offensive categories:
touchdowns, rushing touchdowns, passing touchdowns, receiving touchdowns, receptions, stuff like that.
That's already too many for the Jets.
Yeah, so like
12 then.
Like, do you guys realize that the Ravens had the number 1 scoring offense with having like the number 27 passing attack in 2019? Like, you can have a top 12 offense in a lot of metrics and not be, oh, you were like 12th in this. It's like the Chiefs aren't ever going to be like a top 12 rushing offense. So the Chiefs don't even fit this. So if your all offensive categories is like yards and points, like, okay, maybe I don't think so, but I don't know. I could see the Jets scoring some points this season.
Honestly, I counted 12 teams. I just counted 12 teams in my head that I put above the Jets easily.
Oh yeah, well that
was just like
let's see. Bills, Raven, the entire AFC North has a solid argument. Titans,
the NFC West.
Yeah, the entire NFC West.
The Bucks at the South.
The Raiders, Chiefs, Chargers, Cowboys.
Pretty much.
Packers, Vikings, Saints. Oh, I like the Saints this year. The Falcons, Bucks.
Like, see, we could just. So I think. I think that was a.
Oh man!
And on that note,
yeah, I think it's time to. I think it's time to end. Hey, if you guys loved our stuff, make sure you like the stream, subscribe to the channel, follow us on YouTube, or follow us on, I always freaking screw that up. Follow us on Twitter at UStadium, follow us on Instagram at UStadium. I will be back in about 30 minutes. I'm going to hopefully go get 10 million drinks and like scarf them down so my throat doesn't die tomorrow, because I do have to attend class. So yeah, with that said, make sure to tune in if you're interested in hearing me talk more like this and more like I'm so excited for this. Like I don't think I've mentioned this. I have a lot of pride in what I do as like a sports guy. You know, I've been writing articles for 2.5 years now. I've been doing stuff with U Stadium for over 2 years. I've been producing content like this for 8 months. I'm really proud of my top 100 every year. I know there's pushback and I know it's not perfect, but I'm really proud of this. And I'm really, as soon as I get my laptop charged, I'm really excited for it. So if you guys want to see some of my passion come out, drop by 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. So yeah, that said, Stefan, Jack, any last words?
Can't wait for the season to start. That's about it. We're getting a little bit close. So
we are really close. Stay tuned for some potential Madden 22 content coming soon. I finally did pick up the game on PC, so we will have some, if StreamYard permits, we will be able to maybe do something with it. So we'll see what happens there.
Saucy. All right. Well, with that said, guys, peace out. Aaron Donald trains with knives, and I will be back in half an hour. So I can't like do this and stop the stream, so I'm gonna have to do one finger at a time.